Can you mute your... Alright, so we are starting Canto 11, chapter 18. This is called Description of Varnasrama-dharma. And this is a talk between Uddhava. Uddhava has asked certain questions to Krishna, so Krishna is giving some answers. This particular chapter is based on description of the Varnasrama-dharma. So we are talking over here about how a sannyasi should be living. Just before this, we had done something about the previous verse, that is from 1 to 14. We had covered mostly about after you have finished your grahastha ashram, when you go to vanaprastha, what are you supposed to do? Now this is the next dharma, which is called sannyasa ashram. So we are doing 15th verse. If the sannyasi desires to wear something besides a mere coping, he may use another cloth around his waist and hips to cover the coping. Otherwise, if there is no emergency, he should not accept anything besides his danda and water pot. See, the verse is talking about that every person who has taken up sannyasa ashram has to live in the minimalist clothing, absolutely minimal, which means coping means a very simple undergarment. Then if you are not comfortable in that, then you can definitely wear a kind of a cloth around your waist which covers your bottom half of the body. It's more or less like a lungi, you know how lungi would be. It's like a dhoti. So you can wear that, and if not, now the person is staying in a very hot place, he need not even take that. The basic necessity of a sage, or rather a person who has taken up the last ashrama, is to just have a water pot. A water pot is needed because you cannot drink water or use water without a water pot. Imagine you are near a river. How do you drink? You're not an animal that you're going to dip your head inside and drink. No. So you need a small water pot, even for your other purposes, and a danda. Why a danda? Danda is because you may be climbing the mountains, or there may be certain animals or certain kinds of creatures like snakes and all when you are moving from place to place. Now these, if you tap that stick on the ground, all these creatures go away. Normally, if you see that the snakes or some such kind of a creatures will only harm you if they are hungry, number one, and if you have done something to them. A ferocious creature, like say for example a tiger or any other kind of a creature, animal, will only disturb you if it is hungry. Otherwise, it's not going to look at you also. And this is a very well-known fact. Recently, when Beto had gone to a place in the Amazon jungles, there was a very huge snake lying right in front of them. And the guide said, don't worry, he is already well fed. He is not even going to look at you. So you can go near him and take photographs if you want. So it is very strange that the snake didn't do anything. It just was sitting over there doing nothing whatsoever. And it was not scared. It was not even doing anything which can harm the people. And this is what you should know, that these animals, these creatures will not do anything if you are not going to disturb them, number one. Number two, if they are somewhere in the vicinity and maybe your leg may fall on top of it. So what you need to do is you need to tap that stick on the ground. The creatures, they can hear these kind of sounds. So they will go away from there. Then another creature which he spoke about, which was a very interesting phenomena which he was talking about, was there was a alligator kind of a animal. I don't know what. I think it is called by some name. Now this creature which stays in the swamps, when the people went to see it, it slid inside the water. The moment these people went away from there, it came out of the water again. And this they tried many times to see whether that animal was actually, wanting to go inside water or not. So it was only taking shelter in the water when human beings were around. Otherwise, it was not interested. It was just lazing there on the shore, on the side of the river, Amazon River. So it was a very interesting phenomenon which was told. So the danda is important. The danda is important because if you have to climb places, you need a support stick. Or if you have to shoo away the creatures from the path, it is extremely important. You don't harm these creatures. A saintly person should step or place his foot on the ground only after verifying with his eyes that there are no living creatures such as insects which might be injured by his foot. He should drink water only after filtering it through a portion of the cloth, and he should speak only words that possess the purity of truth. Similarly, he should perform only those activities his mind has carefully ascertained to be pure. Now, this person who is a sannyasi, as I told you, he is supposed to just tap the stick on the ground so that the creatures move away. This is what was mentioned in the first half of it. Then, the pot is there. You have to use a filter. Filter is important because you see there are certain places where the water is muddy, where it is not good. So at such points in time, carrying a little cloth piece which will filter the water is important. So that's what he's saying. Again, you should not harm any creatures as you're going along the path. Then the most important pollutant in the world, the most important pollutant for any human being in the world, in the entire world, is called your own tongue. The more you speak, the more pollution you are spreading. And you have to understand that if you can give a yes, no, maybe, or those kind of answers, just a few words, they are actually sufficient. But an argument happens when too many words flow from the mouth. So a sannyasi is not supposed to speak too many words. He is only allowed to speak those words which are not going to be harmful to anybody. That means minimalistic talk. No superfluous talk. There is no need for us to get into an argument. Just think about it. If somebody says, "Why are you not doing this?" the immediate repartee is, "What do you think? I should be doing this. Why should I not be doing this?" This is a normal course of talk which we have in our world. If somebody comes to ask you, "How is your day?" or "How have you been today?" the answer could be, "I'm fine. My day was good." That is it. You don't know what happened today. I had the most horrible day. And then you go into a tirade. Or otherwise, if your day has been good, "I have to tell you something." Why do you have to get into such a superfluous language? It's not important. The more number of words that you speak, you are actually spreading a lot of pollution. On the note of pollution, there is a very great treaty which was supposed to have been signed last year in what is called as the Paris Accord. This Paris Accord, you see, I take the opportunity to spread these kind of messages through my satsang also. It's extremely important. Now, this is a very, very important treaty which is going to help the entire mankind. You see, our planet is so covered by obnoxious gases and so many things like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, so on and so many things. And this particular accord is going to release, going to make the countries lower their output of these kind of obnoxious gases which are harming the space. And it is not good for human beings. Unfortunately, most of the countries have signed it, and only one country, which is one of the biggest pollutant, is saying that they want to withdraw. This is very sad. It's important that every country should take this into account. India has been really very, very progressive as far as that is concerned. India was setting up more than a double-digit figure of coal-based plants to produce electricity. India has cancelled all these plans. Now we are only going in for clean power. And that is the reason why power is important, which is clean, and we have to take care of our environment. So carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, all these gases, they should be lowered. And we have to ensure that our own vehicles are kept in ship shape, proper good shape. So anyway, that is something which we have to understand and do it. This person should speak minimal words, and whatever that he speaks should be absolutely the truth. No need of lying. Now, truth doesn't mean that you have to act like an idiot and speak something which is okay. You look so ugly. Is not the truth person wants to hear. It's not important to say, you look ugly, or have you not washed your face. You know how bad they sound to a ear. So a sannyasi is not even supposed to say those kind of words. He should never utter words which will harm another person, or which will say to the other person that, okay, I am telling the truth, no doubt about it, but no buts. You don't need to say too many words. He should perform only those activities his mind has carefully ascertained to be pure. Means only pure activities are important and they need to be performed. That which is not going to disturb him. One who has not accepted the three internal disciplines of avoiding useless speech, avoiding useless activity, and controlling the life air can never be considered a sannyasi merely because he carries a bamboo rod. Now, just because a person is carrying a bamboo stick, okay, doesn't mean that he has become a sannyasi. Sannyasa translates into the less amount of speech that you do, it is better, number one. Number two, useless activities which are not going to be of any use in the world. Now think about it. We do so many things which have no value whatsoever. What are they? Now you will say, why do I need to read this? Why do I need to do that? Many things which actually do not contribute towards your growth at all. What are the things? You see, just a few days ago, I was going through an Instagram account of some person that I know. And I saw this person going to a very, very fancy restaurant, and that person has posted Instagram pictures. Has gone to a fancy restaurant, paying fancy amount of money over there. While the order is being served, they are solving puzzles over there and playing those board games. How much of activity a man can do to waste his time? Think about it. Playing board games and solving what puzzles before your food comes, doesn't it sound like a useless activity? Now you may say, no, oh, he's improving his language skills. Language skills at the age when the person is crossed 60 or 55? I mean, think about it. Is it important to do those kind of things? You just need basic skills for talking in this world. Unless and until you want to crack the spelling bee. That Indian girl has just cracked it yesterday. I mean today in the morning, and it was a wonderful thing. She is just a sixth grader in the United States. Can you imagine a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old person saying, "Oh, I want to improve my English, so I am doing a crossword. I am doing this or I am doing that." It's not important. You are not here in this world to waste your time. There are important activities to do. Then there was one other thing which I saw. There are lots of people in this world who are very, very poor. Now, these poor people need to be helped. So, one of our group persons, he was offering a certain amount of money to this poor and homeless person. And then Another person who was there with him is asking him, why are you wasting your money on these people? So he didn't even see how much money was there in his pocket. He just removed that money and gave it away to the homeless, to the poor people. I mean, there were many people over there who use the money for maybe eating their food or buying some grocery. This happened, and an hour later, the same two people went inside a fancy restaurant. Fancy restaurant is one of those, uh, not, you can't call it a fancy restaurant, it's a fast food joint. After going into the fast food joint, the person ate a big amount of meal and left a huge tip for the waiter. You are willing to pay a huge amount of money to a person who is serving you like this, but you don't want to give even 1 rupee or $1 to a poor man who has not had food. Don't you think that is the stupidest thing in the world? Isn't it important that you don't waste your money like this? I am not saying you don't pay the waiter. What I am saying is, if you can pay the waiter a certain amount of money, why can you not remove that little amount of money and give to the homeless or the poor people who don't have food to eat? Isn't that important? Every man spends a huge amount of money spending on their own self. And this is a very, very painful issue. People in the, those who have, those are the haves and the have not. There are two kind of people in this world. People, those who have, they are showing pictures or rather posting pictures on Instagram, having a hot bubble bath or some such kind of a thing, maybe in the swimming pool, drinking some fancy kind of juices and stuff like that. But the same person doesn't have a little bit of heart to give that little amount of money. The amount of money that a person spends on one drink, can they not give it to some poor person? And this is what means to be a kind of a sannyasi. See, here I am not advising that you become a sannyasi. What I am advising is, can you be a little more helpful to the people around, the ones who actually deserve, than spending pots of money buying and doing things which are not necessary at all. This is the truth which a sannyasi has to learn. So in our world, wherever we live, if you are spending money, there are people who buy a lot of fancy stuff. Even if you are buying a book, let us say if you are buying a book, if the book is costing $20 or $30, the same book would be available on one of the websites for $4 and $5 also. You are going to read the book once in your life. It will take you a few days to read the book, and after that it is going to go in the library behind. Can you see the library behind? Those are all holy books, by the way. Okay? The holy books are something which I normally teach every now and then. There are piles of holy books around me, so I teach them. But are you even going to open up that book? Think about all the people in this world who have bought 50 Shades of Grey and all those books after that. They have spent lots of money doing that. Or Harry Potter's. Harry Potter pile of books are there lying, and they have never been read again. What is the point? Can you not give them away to some needy person somewhere? There is no need to put them in your cupboard and, I don't know, do something about it. Just give it to a needy person. Maybe if you think that if you can sell it back to somebody for a few dollars, why not use that money to put it away somewhere? There is a very important thing which you can do. Which one of my circle person does. What does he do is, he has taken out a certain amount of money. Every day he will take out one note from it, and whomsoever he thinks is needy person out there, he just passes it on to that person. You may feel, why do I need to do this? See, there are people in this world who do not have that wherewithal. They don't have. And those who have need to pass on that what they have. A little bit of it. Little bit. Little bit. That's it. So sannyasa ashram need not be going to become a sannyasi. It could mean that you could be doing certain amount of favors to this world. Just help people around. That's it. So, next he's saying over here, rejecting those houses that are polluted and untouchable. One should approach without previous calculation 7 houses and be satisfied with that which is obtained there by begging. According to necessity, one may approach each of the 4 occupational orders of society. For a sannyasi, the most important thing which he has to overcome is called ego. And that ego is very, very strong in every human being. Just imagine, can you go outside with a begging bowl and ask someone some money? Do you know how humiliating it is for every person? You will not want to do that. In some of the ashrams in India, some of these very fancy places, they have designed techniques how to overcome the ego. So one of the techniques, I will tell you what they do. The person is taken, now the ashram is about 40-50 kilometers away. This person is taken wearing torn clothes with no money in the pocket. And by the way, these people are very high-fi executives of top companies like Citibank and all these kind of massive companies, okay? Lever, Unilever, Citibank, Nestle, very posh people, executives and officers and so on and so forth. Now they are given torn clothes, okay? And they are not given even 1 rupee. Then they are left 50 kilometers away where there is less habitation. Their job is to get back to the ashram by evening. They are left early in the morning. Now think about it. This person looks disheveled, is having torn clothes, and people have tried various means of getting back to the ashram. This ashram is in a 5-star hotel, by the way. I should not be telling you more about these kind of places. It is like you are paying about 4,000 to 5,000 rupees to stay over there per day. People go for this kind of places. In India, we have those very fancy ashrams, and in this fancy ashram, one of the exercises is this. You will ask me why exercise? Your HR department also does this, no? Human resources department in most of the big organizations, employ these kind of people from outside and say, teach our people something new today. So think about it. In an ashram, it's the same thing. The HR person is the person who runs the ashram. Okay, and this is one of the exercises. And these people are left 50 kilometers away from the ashram. Now their job is to get back to the ashram without a rupee in the pocket. How do you get that? You can't beg, because you see, you have never begged in your life. You have always lived in 5-star facilities. So it is an extremely difficult task for these people to go and ask someone for money. Some of them go to the shopkeepers in the area and say, हम ये ashram से हैं, we would like to go back to the ashram. Can we get some money? Money? Abhi, oye, hut. So they get rejected by at least 20-30 people before somebody actually says, okay, fine, I'll lend you some money. Go by bus back to the ashram. But otherwise, The man learns how much of rejection a person feels when somebody comes to the door. It is not an easy task. Even a door-to-door salesman, when he knocks on your door, the first thing that you do is bang the door in his face. Many years ago, I became a door-to-door salesman. And we were taught the art of knocking doors. This was called cold calls. I was selling vacuum cleaners. As a vacuum cleaner salesman, many doors were banged on my face. Okay? And at many places, I had to have humiliating experiences. But I learned a lot. Can you not get disturbed when somebody says get out? It is important. So now think about the sannyasi. A sannyasi is supposed to go to 7 houses. But he should not go to a place which he knows that these are not good people. He is not supposed to go there. I mean, definitely you know in your own area or whichever area that you are in, who is the right person and who is the wrong person. So if you know that, you are anyway not going to go there. So go to the right place with your begging bowl and ask for food. In countries like Burma, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, Cambodia, Malaysia, there are lots of these Buddhist places where Diksha is a very, very important thing that they are taught. The monks dress in their own monk style, the orange clothes and all that. They carry a danda and they carry a bag, a sling bag made of cotton. And they go to a particular place and they stand over there early in the morning at 5:30 or so. People from that village will come with small bags filled with some fruits and food eatables, and they are given to the monk. These monks are about 20-30 of them. They all get that bags and they carry them with them to their ashram, whichever that monastery that they come from. This is a regulated activity. But here in sannyas ashram, it is not a regulated activity. You have to do it on your own. It is to test your own ego. How bad you feel when you go and beg from people. I have had people telling me, I have never asked anyone for money. You think I will go and ask? So the first thing that I say is, in case if you are joining my ashram, I will ask you to get out and go and beg. Then I don't want to come. If you don't want to come to a place where your ego is going to be brought inside, then there is no point, I mean, there is no point in even coming over here or even telling me that I am a part of your group, because first and foremost, your ego has to be destroyed. So this is an important thing which the Guru does. And a sannyasi's job is to ensure that he doesn't have even an iota of ego in him. Now for the part which talks about why begging is important. The whole world, the Western world, the psychiatrists, psychologists, all these great people, economists and everybody else in this world, they say that begging is not good. Don't give a beggar. You are increasing that kind of a stuff, in this world where a person doesn't, work. In India, we believe something completely different. A sannyasi has given up his life for spiritual purposes. A Buddhist, a Hindu, sannyasi, a person who has given up, or Jain, or some such kind of, or even Chinese, yes. So if they have given up their life for this particular purpose, and they are going and begging, They are having a belief in something which we call as karma. The belief in karma states whatever you give, you will get it back in return. Now, I want you to think of an hypothetical example today. Suppose you do not have any money. You are a very, very poor person. There is another person who has a lot of money. Now, if this person who has a lot of money gives to this poor man, law of karma says that this poor man, when he has reversed the position, he becomes rich in some life, will have to give this man who was rich, who has now become poor, isn't it? So don't you think it's a payback time somewhere in the future? Karma is not played out in one life, by the way. Is not. Karma cannot be repaid back. You know, people say instant karma. By the way, there is nothing called instant karma. There is no concept called instant karma. Karma is an accumulation of our deeds, accumulation. And these we come in this life to spend some amount, a little bit. Let us say today you are doing something. You have adopted a small child. Maybe not adopted, you are giving some money for that person's education. Let us think like that. The child is around 6 or 7 years old and you are paying for the education of that child. Now, the law of karma states that that child has to pay you back. That 6-year-old doesn't have the ability to pay you back. And if the 6-year-old becomes a 25-year-old after 19 years and is earning good amount of money, now if he has taken about $1,000 from you, can he pay back at the age of 25 to you? Now you might have become around 60 years old by then. Do you think that repayment happens like that? No. Can you not understand that when the child was 6-year-old, you were paying for education? How can a 25-year-old pay for a 60-year-old education back? Correct? It doesn't work like that. Huh? Another example I will give you. Suppose there is, now this is a bad example. There is a man, now this great case of Nirbhaya has happened. 4 people are given the sentence to die. There was a 5th person who was responsible, but who was a juvenile. The court said he is a juvenile till the age of 18. He is supposed to be in a place. After that, he is allowed to go. But this person has done a grievous crime to a girl. How can that girl repay it back to this person? Please, can you tell me? It can never happen in this life, no? And he is a man, and she is a woman. And that woman is already dead. How can that woman repay this man whatever his deeds he has done? And this is one thing. Second important thing which you should understand is, are you happy? Suppose if you are that girl, will you be satisfied 100% if that person gets 10 years in jail? No. You have lost so many things. Can that be a compensation in 10 years in jail? No. That is not equalized. Equalization never happens. So the law of karma states it can only be repaid in some other life, not in that life. So the law of karma is like that. So coming back to our old story. So this poor man is getting some food from this rich person. If the poor man is getting food from this rich person in this life, in some life in the future, this rich man might be poor and this poor man might be rich. So isn't there a repayment going to happen in the future somewhere? So when you give, you will get. Remember this dictum. So if you give today, somewhere in the future, you are actually securing your future karma. So it is important to give. Then, why is this food pure? It doesn't have any desire whatsoever. Think about it. You know, we like to give away food which we don't want, isn't it? There are lots of us over here in India. We do this kind of a thing. You know, there is some food lying in the fridge or somewhere, and which you are anyway not going to eat it. What do? You pack it up and give it to your kamwali bai, or you give it to your some poor man you see on the streets. Why? You are palming it off, no? You are trying to give it away, something which you are anyway not going to use. What exactly is happening over here? This food which you are giving away is called a desireless food. You don't have the desire to eat it, no? That is why you are giving it away. The person who is accepting it desires the food the most. He wants it because he is hungry. And something offered to a person which is desire free of any kind of desire, is the most healthiest kind of charity you might have ever done in your life. But you don't know. If that person doesn't take, you are going to get into trouble. There are always ways like this which we need to know and understand. Is there any problem with the net? No. So a person who accepts this money, person who does this kind of a thing, takes this food, is actually doing you a favor by taking it. Is taking over a certain amount of your karma which you don't know anything about. So always remember this. It's an extremely important thing to remember, that we should give wholeheartedly without any ulterior motive. Don't give when you're going to get something. Give with an open heart. It may be even $1, does not matter. You can please give $1 to whomsoever that you wish to. It really does not matter. Are we losing connectivity or something? No. So, taking the food gathered through begging, one should leave the populated area and go to a reservoir of water in a secluded place. There, having taken a bath and washed one's hand thoroughly, one should distribute portions of the food to others who may request it. One should do this without speaking. Then, having thoroughly cleansed the remnants, one should eat everything on one's plate, leaving nothing for future consumption. I think I have told you about the social experiment that was conducted. You know, people were asked money, they refused to give. But when food packets were given to poor people, those who are homeless, they were given to poor people. The person who conducted the experiment went into fancy restaurants to find out whether the person who is eating that, McDonald's or KFC or whatever he was eating, was he willing to give even a little piece? And that person said, no, I will not give, go away from here. But when this same person who was conducting the experiment went to these poor people who had been given one packet of food, that person was willing to share it with this man. So what does it translate into? It tells you very clearly that those who don't have a very great heart. They want to share that little also which they get. So a sannyasi's job, if he gets little, he has to share it with others. So here I will tell you a story. Now, Samartha Ramdas is a very great saint who was the guru of Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj was a very great king. So Samartha Ramdas never ate any food offered by anybody directly. All the great people in this world, including Shivaji, invited him to his Rajwadas, to his palace, so that they could eat food. He never had it. He would stay in one padav. Padav means a small hut somewhere outside the kingdom. And Shivaji had to go and meet him over there. He never met Shivaji in his palace, by the way. So coming back to this story, even if there was a rich person with this great sage, he had a few assistants, like basically those who are with him, like a disciple. So he would tell his disciple, go to the village and beg for alms. So when they used to go and beg for alms, food or whatever that was there, they would get it back, and everything was put together. Suppose there was some, bhakri means what do you call it? Jawar is one of the grains, and they would get some little flour of jawar or wheat flour or whatever flour that was given. He would make small chapatis out of it, and with the twigs and the leaves and all, he would burn them and then make those round chapati kind of stuff, which we call bhakri in Marathi, and distribute it to all the students. Shivaji Maharaj used to sit over there, and after his guru had finished eating, whatever was the leftover, he would eat. Though he was the king of that land, remember this. That was Shivaji Maharaj's greatness. And he had himself come with so much amount of food, which the guru distributed to the villagers, by the way. The guru never ate that meal. He distributed it to the villagers and gave away all the riches. This is how a sannyasi is supposed to live. Giving away things, not holding them, keeping them to himself. Okay? Without any material attachments, with senses fully controlled, remain enthusiastic and satisfied in realization of the Supreme Lord and his own self. A saintly person should travel about the earth alone. Having equal vision everywhere, he should be steady on the spiritual platform. This is an important lesson to us as well. Do you know something? If your boss has given you a peace of mind, you come home and you give the peace of mind to other people around you. If there is something happening in your world which is disturbing you, what do? You spread that unhappiness to every other person in your world. Let us say you have met with some kind of a problem in this world. That problem you want to spread it to the other people as well. This is how you behave. In this line, what is mentioned by Krishna over here is, do not do that. Why? You have to have equanimity in all circumstances, which means do not spread unhappiness around you. Our response to a person, suppose you are busy doing something, suppose you are writing something, or you are on your laptop, or you are doing something. Another person comes and asks you certain things. How is your response? Our response is, don't disturb me, go away from here. This is how our response is. We need to have a better response in that. Can you be nice? Can you be kind? Can you be compassionate? Can you be good? There is no need to bark like a dog. Isn't it? There is no need for a human being to behave badly with another human being. Just because you have got a mail which tells you, that your boss is giving you a peace of mind. Don't do that. The sannyasi is supposed to behave in this manner. What is he supposed to do? He should be always enthusiastic, not be dull, not be disturbed. Think about it. If one sannyasi says, अरे यार आज खाने को किसी ने नहीं दिया, the next person I meet now, I'm going to chew him apart. Just think about it. He has gone and knocked on 7 houses and nobody has given him any food. He's very hungry. So the next person says, how are you? Person asks you this question. दिखता नहीं मेरे को खाने का नहीं मिला. I mean, think about how we react. This is sannyasi is not supposed to react this way. He is supposed to be nice and kind. Not necessary. Many a times you don't get. Many a times you get. It doesn't mean that you have to misbehave. It doesn't mean that you have to be a disturbed person. So here he says, without any material attachment, you need not have any material attachment to anything in the world. Food, whatever, clothing, shelter, everything. With senses fully controlled, you need to control your senses. Senses control is so very important. You know how important senses control is? You don't get carried away by things around you. Okay? Suppose you are walking, you are very tired. You can sit. You can take a rest. Right? But it is not necessary that you have to enact that entire thing. Oh my God, I'm hurting, my legs are paining. You know how human beings do to each other? And then if they have a headache, how will they say, I got a stinking headache, today you don't understand, I had a horrible time in the office. Okay, is this how you speak? The sannyasi is not supposed to do that. He is supposed to have his senses fully under control. He should remain enthusiastic. He should enthusiastically talk in the same language with everybody. Whether it's at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. Remember, he is supposed to talk very little. In the beginning, we had already discussed that. Whatever that he speaks, he is supposed to speak nicely and gently. Satisfied. And his only job is what? To go towards spirituality. That means be spiritual in nature. Learn the self. Go to the realization of the Supreme Lord and his own self. The saintly person should travel the earth alone. How alone? It's a very, very strange incident which was related to me. Vito was going on a tour. Somebody accompanied him. And he had gone to the Amazon jungles to go and see that Amazon and various other things. There's another person who was an urban person, urban guy. So when he went along, there was a huge trek and to go quite high in the mountains. Because I am going over there. The other person said, what, are you crazy? You want to go and see that thing? On the contrary, I will go to the city and enjoy my life over there. I will see the night, whatever the night shows that are there and all that kind of. And this person went this side. So it happened that next day he said, I'm going to see these very ancient ruins which are 1200 BC, 1500 BC. And his friend says to him, oh, you're going to see some broken stones? How does it sound? You are going to see some broken stones. By the way, what the broken stone was called a sun gate by. I don't want to give an elaboration over here. What a sun gate is, what is the meaning of all these different pyramids and stuff like that. It's not necessary. But let me put it this way, it is not important to call those stones. Think. Recently, there was an excavation which happened in the Middle East, and people have gone to such lengths to get that place cleared out. It is believed that the body of Jesus Christ was kept over there. It's one of the holiest places in the world. Those are also broken stones, by the way. So why are you going to the broken stones? That's not a broken stone. That is something extremely important that you have to go to, because it represents Godhood. It represents something which is very, very important in our world, which is the spiritual nature. So we love to go and see gods which are decked in gold and all, there are lots of gods which are decked in full gold, covered from top to toe. People love to go and see such kind of gods. What god are you seeing? You're only seeing gold. Even in Shirdi, there is a very funny thing which happens. People go and look at the statue over there and they pray to the statue. Whereas, where is the real stuff? The real stuff is below that. It's a samadhi of that saint. Sai Baba's samadhi is below that. You are supposed to touch that samadhi. And if you don't have to, I would rather not have any, marble on top of it. I would rather see that body over there, preserved. I don't mind. And that is the reason why here in Goa we have this very great saint whose body is there up. St. Francis Xavier, those who have been to Goa will tell you, St. Francis Xavier's body is there on top. Everybody goes to see that. He's a great saint. So you should actually understand what you are going to go and see and do over there. So this instance where the person said, what is this whole thing? You are going to see some broken stones. So there was one Chinese lady over there who asked Brito, why isn't your friend joining? So he said, my friend says that those are broken stones. He doesn't want to go and see. The Chinese lady burst out laughing. You mean to tell me your friend doesn't understand any of these things? And think about it. How funny can that be? You don't call a fantastic ruins, which has a temple, by the way. It's called the Sun Temple. Another one bit of information. And this particular sun gate, and there is a Sun Temple. It's in ruins actually. These are called the chakra centers of this earth. Okay, that means they are energy centers of this earth. I don't want to give you more information on that, but you can go and Google it for yourself. And these are important spots which are extremely, you should, if you get a chance, you should go and see. And there are many such kind of places in the world which are very, very beautiful. So here in this verse, what is he saying? He says the saintly person should travel around the earth alone. You see, if you have two people, there is going to be always an argument. तू इधर आएगा क्या, तो ऐसा करेगा क्या, ऐसा होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए, भूख लगा है, खाने का है, this, that. How many things do people talk? People should learn to go on their own, alone. It is always very healthy. Yes, please be safe wherever you are going. You don't have to go with another company. If you go with two people, if there are two people, that particular thing which I'm sure that was a very important verse which my Gurudev was saying. There was this girl, one of the gurus of my Guru, by the way. There was this girl who was alone at home, and some people come to see her. In olden times, people used to go to the houses of the girls to see the girl, so they're getting married. So this girl was working in the kitchen at that time, maybe cleaning vessels or something like that. So she tells this family which has come, please sit, and she puts them in the living room outside, and she has to go and clean the vessels inside. Now in India we wear those bangles, pile of bangles. So she had bangles in both the hands. And every time when she was trying to clean the vessel, the noise used to come, of those bangles. it should not disturb the people outside. So she removes 2, 3. And there are 2, 3 left. Again, when she does this, again the noise comes. Finally, she leaves only 2. So even when a person leaves these 2, still the noise comes. So finally, she removes 1 and only 1 is left. Then there is no noise at all. So this is a story told by my guru as one of the gurus. If there are 2 people, there is going to be 100% noise. But if you are alone in this world, there will be no noise. And peace, to be in a peaceful state means to be alone. You will be peaceful. A psychiatrist will say you will go mad. Because you are with another person. Do you know who is that person who you are with? It's called the mind. You are 2. One is you and one is your mind. And the mind chatters so much, isn't it? No. Here you are alone. Your mind is silent. No mind talk. You have to learn to be silent. Otherwise, it will be 2 bangles. It is going to make noise, isn't it? Your mind is going to tell you something, you are going to say something, your mind will say something, and ping pong. Ping pong? It will go on. So that the ping pong doesn't happen, you are supposed to keep quiet. So, learn to be quiet. And if you are alone, and if you travel alone, it will help you a lot. Take a backpack and go. Go with minimalistic things. It's really wonderful. For a Swamiji, for a sannyasi, he is supposed to travel alone. He is not supposed to go with a group of people or something like that. It's only when you travel alone will you be with yourself. You will understand your true meaning of yourself, being with yourself, and your vision. You will have an equal vision. You will have something which is very, very important. An equal vision. If you carry your phone with you, if you carry your laptop with you, you are never going to be happy. I hope you understand that, because everybody is going to do ping, 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 ping. Every minute they will call you. Hey, where are you? What are you doing? How are things? It's better to tell them that there is no signal over there. Isn't it? No signal over there. Only when I get Wi-Fi will I talk to you. That's the best thing to do. And do it. It will help you. If you want to go in a company, you know what happens in a company, no? If there are guys, they end up drinking, they'll talk bullshit, they'll do all kinds of wrong things. If you go alone, you will enjoy nature. You will see the beauty of this world and you will be happy. If it is a woman, you will be amazed to know that more than 50% of the travelers in this world today are women. In the age group between 18-20 onwards up to late 60s, 70s and all. There are women in this world. If you have ever gone to Machu Picchu or one of those places, look at the crowd over there. You will see a lot of single women also over there. You should go to safe places. What I mean is, don't go to places which are going to be disturbing, where people will, tease you or something like that. You don't have to go and do that. But you can go alone, travel alone. So this is what a sannyasi should do, travel alone. You are not a sannyasi, so I am telling you to travel in places where you can be alone by yourself, but a beautiful place. You have equal vision everywhere. You should be steady in the spiritual platform. Steady. You should never get disturbed. Don't get disturbed whatsoever. Always maintain that oneness and be happy. Okay, so now we are going to stop over here. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, so we have come to the end of our satsang.